All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, the Hurricane Watch Team is back with another live tropical weather update. Right now, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Alvin. Earlier today, it was named off the eastern coast of Mexico, or off the western coast of Mexico, in the eastern Pacific Ocean. Tropical Tidbits hasn't updated yet. It still says Tropical Depression 1. But here you can see from the official National Hurricane Center, there it is, a tropical storm. This was as of 8 a.m. On the map, but it was the 10 a.m. update East Central Time. 8 a.m. Mountain Time is when it was updated to Tropical Storm Alvin. Really, based on the latest satellite imagery that we're looking at here, it looks like the storm is actually much closer to maybe 60, about closer between 45 and 50 knots. Between 50 and 60 miles an hour, the storm has really began to organize and develop much better since the last update. We may see another update again. However, here's the latest. Currently, it's about 40 miles an hour. Currently, its air pressure is about 1,005 millibars. Present movement is to the northwest at about 10 miles an hour. Currently, there are no watches or warnings in effect. Here's the latest discussion. So it is currently located near latitude 13.8 degrees north, longitude 106.3 degrees west. It is currently moving to the northwest at 10 miles an hour, 17 kilometers an hour, and the general motion is expected to continue through today, followed by a northern turn going into tomorrow and into Saturday. However, the maximum sustained winds again have increased to 40 miles an hour with higher gusts and some more additional strengthening as expected through tonight. However, by later tomorrow evening, there is expected to begin some weakening as it moves into more unfavorable conditions. So again, we do believe a peak at about 24 hours from now, about 60 miles an hour. Really, right now, it looks like about 45 to 50 knots right about now. There's a lot of deep convection near the storm and some big bursts of convection wrapping around the center, which does show there is a lot of organization still going on, as well as some intensification. However, in the last few frames, you look at water vapor here, it'll be a little bit easier. So all of this is clouds, lots of moisture and stuff. But if we pause this, actually I'm on the wrong one, I think. This one's a little easier, so let's see. You can see right through here, especially right in this area, there could be a little bit of some intrusion of dry air. Maybe a little bit here, but it's more noticeable right through here where there's a lack of clouds. That generally is a sign that there could be some dry air trying to intrude and get into the center of the storm, which would prevent any additional intensification. However, there's a lot of deep convection where the center of the storm is at, preventing any sort of dry air getting into that center. There's a deep convection which is expanding and pushing the dry air out. In terms of forecast with this system, again, it appears that this storm will remain off of the western coast of Mexico. As you can see, again, some more intensification will, but by the time it intensifies, it will reach its peak, and then it will weaken. And by the time it even gets remotely close, the storm is just gone. Doesn't even make landfall as even a depression. Not even a remnant low, just clouds. So by the time the storm even gets remotely close towards the coast, it's going to be gone. Because of dry air, wind shear, and much cooler temperatures. I want to take a little closer look. I'll go through all of these models here and get a better look at this storm and the structure of the storm through its life. So again, it really does do a lot more strengthening. Looks like 994 is its strength. We do start to see some kind of a core begin to develop, but again, all of this is off to the north. There's nothing towards the south, which shows there could be some dry air. So at about, again, 24 hours from now, that's when we could begin to see some weakening, where we begin to fall apart. So again, we don't expect the storm to become a lot stronger than what it is now. Really, it does not appear that really any of these models are showing it to be really any stronger than what it is now. I mean, right now there's a lot of convection. I mean, it might intensify a little bit more, but a lot of these models aren't showing even any rain anywhere remotely near. Essentially, it looks like there'll be an exposed center at one point. Especially when it's weakening, as the storm weakens and there's wind shear, you'll be able to see that exposed center, and it'll continue to fall apart. So none of the models are really showing this turning into anything really intense. Maybe 990 is the lowest reasonable air pressure that we could see. I think a moderately to maybe a strong tropical storm is a reasonable 60 to 70 miles an hour in that range. 60, 65 miles an hour, reasonably in that range, is how strong it's going to get, because it doesn't have a huge window to intensify. Therefore, once it moves out of those conditions, then that's when we're going to begin to see the storm beginning to weaken, because it has about 18 to 24 hours, I would say, until the storm begins to weaken. So, that's what we got, the satellite imagery in this system. I want to look a little bit more at the forecast models, where we could in fact see some more storms after Alvin be coming up in the East Pacific. So let's take a look there at the East Pacific. So we do have that system. There's Alvin. Like I've said, it's going to intensify, and then even as it begins getting closer to the coast, it's going to quickly fall apart. Then after Alvin, that's really when we could see some more activity there in the Eastern Pacific, again off the coast of Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. This storm is a lot more robust and a lot more compact. When we have these storms that are a lot more compact, they can quickly intensify, but they can quickly fall apart. They're highly influenced by the environment that they're in. And then boom, makes landfall. Actually, it makes landfall, boom, it falls apart. Then there's another system that spins up to the south and west of it, and it kind of rides the coast there. Again, I know, we all see that off the coast of Florida. Again, this is over 300 hours out from now. This just gives us an idea of the general direction in terms of the movement that we're going into in terms of tropical activity. So we're going to expect to see an uptick in our tropical activity off of the coast of Central America, and Mexico. Not specifically exactly how strong these storms are going to be or where they're all going to go. Again, this is all part of the CAG, the Central American Gyre. They can influence, there's an area of thunderstorms, it rotates, and it can spin off tropical storms and hurricanes. So I did see that system. Again, that really doesn't mean anything. All that tells me is we're moving into a more favorable period and more favorable atmospheric conditions where we could see more activity of tropical weather activity in the North Atlantic. What we need to watch for now that we're starting to see signals that there could be some storms off the coast, off the southeast coast of the United States. Now we need to see, is it consistent with all the models? Is it consistent through all the models through a certain period? As we get closer, maybe about a week, once we get about 7 to 14 days, 1 to 2 weeks from the time when we expect the storm to develop, then we'll begin to watch to see, could we see, then we need to watch, is the Hurricane Center going to put this out on their National Hurricane Center updates on the page, on their homepage here, the graphical tropical weather outlook. But right now, it's just about signals. Are we moving into that direction? And it does in fact appear that we're beginning to move into the direction of some more favorable activity there for the North Atlantic. So again, there is the potential of seeing another storm in the East Pacific. We do like to use the AIFS. It does show long-range trends. However, it is generally pretty good about predicting where the storm is going to go. Not particularly the best with intensity. Intensity is not easy to do. So you kind of have to stack the models that are good with forecasting location, and you need to also have On top of that, you need to have a model that is good on forecasting intensity. So you have an idea of where it's going to be and a better idea of how strong it's going to be. Is it an ensemble? It's a global model. So, move back. So there's that storm. Again, not the best in terms of forecasting intensity, but it's generally pretty good with forecasting direction, placement of where the storm's going to go. So it does show it goes right towards Baja California Peninsula and portions of northwestern Mexico. Quickly dissipate. However, after that time period, it does show another storm, not very strong either. But again, these are 2 and 3 and 350 hours out ahead of time. So again, another storm in the East Pacific is possible there. Is possible. But again, it'll be so weak, so much weaker, and it'll be so much farther off the coast of Mexico that it really won't even there won't be any impacts to Mexico. So it does show a low, which does mean, that is a signal that we are looking for. We do see a low in an area, that is a signal that we look for. And generally this model is pretty good about forecasting location and direction that these storms go. So I'm assuming this might be one of the models similar to what the Hurricane Center uses when they have a model that they use to forecast where a storm will go. And then they'll put that in for a forecast track for a hurricane or a tropical system. Forecast cover. Looks like another storm right here. Again, that is one of the ones that we are also watching is the North Atlantic, because the North Atlantic hurricane season begins in 2 days. Because of that, we are monitoring it. We will be releasing our 2025 North Atlantic hurricane season predictions on June 1st. So please do be aware that we're going to get back into doing videos again. Going to get right back into this because it's been a while, but we're going to get back into this, and we are looking forward to so many more things that we have planned for the 2025 hurricane season. More streams, more videos, and stuff like that. So really, I really want to end it off there. Don't really want to go into depth about the models because if you see here, all the models are in generally good consensus. Don't worry about the model that veers off to the west there. Even if it makes it to Baja California Peninsula, by that point, again, it will be so weak, it will just be a lot of rain. But again, rain is an issue as well. So, even if you live in these areas, western Mexico, southern Baja California Peninsula, be prepared for heavy rain and flooding in the coming days. Just because the storm is not going to be a hurricane does not mean there will be impacts. Rain is just as much as an impact as wind is, if not worse. Rain and water are the #1 killers in the tropical systems. Please be mindful of that. Be prepared for heavy rain and flooding. Again, Live on Tropic said Alvin could become a brief hurricane. That's about it. I totally agree with him. It is not expected to be anything intense. And even if it does become a hurricane, again, it has about 18 to 24 hours at most, closer to 15 hours, until it reaches its peak. And after that, it'll be moving into atmospheric conditions that are less favorable for tropical cyclone development. So by the time it reaches land, there won't be much of it, but there could be some rain. Leave it off here with the satellite imagery. I'm going to go back to the National Hurricane Center and see if they have updated at 1 p.m. I don't think so. Forecast advisory, 1500 UTC. Maximum sustained winds, 35 knots. So it still remains at 40 miles an hour as of 15. That's 1500. Now we need 1800 UTC. Nope. So nothing new with nothing new with the advisory. There it is as the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. Right now it's not expected to become a hurricane. However, we're going to continue to watch as well as monitor this system as it does get closer and see how long it holds together. My goodness, there's a lot of systems to talk about today. Sure, might as well talk about all the systems while I'm at it. Might as well, right? Invest 91W. Just to do a quick overview of all these systems. Not anything left of it. Let's be honest. It's pretty much gone. As you can clearly see, lots of wind shear there from the north, blowing any kind of convection away from the center of circulation there off the coast of China. $94B looks a little bit more aggressive, but it looks like it's already made landfall inland. It's already made landfall inland, but it is bringing a lot of heavy rain and flooding to the country of Bangladesh, Myanmar, and perhaps portions of eastern India. This is India. This is Bangladesh. I think India's over here as well. And then north of that, I think, is China. Oh wait, let's go to satellite imagery. I don't think they'll have the better satellite imagery. No, they don't have any better satellite imagery. It's not very good satellite imagery. But I guess we could take a look at the Bay of Bengal, the Indian region. India. I guess the Indian Ocean's better now. India's what I need to look at. It's more zoomed in, more closer. So again, there's a system. It already made landfall, moving inland in Bangladesh, producing lots of heavy rain for Bangladesh and Myanmar and portions of southern Asia. Follow that. Another. Again, this is just a single signal from one model. All right, this is just a signal from one model, but potentially another storm moving into the Bangladesh and the, I guess that was considered southeastern India, the upper Indian coastline. They're near the border of Bangladesh and India. But the model we really need to look at is this model. This will give us an idea. Do we see a low? If it is able to pick up a low, that will give us an idea if there will be a better idea. Does not pick up a low, so the chances are much lower of there being another system. This model is very good with picking up systems that do develop, and it's good with tracking location. Not great with pressure, but great with knowing where they're going to be, which is important. Which is definitely important. Westpac, okay, it does show a low there in the Western Pacific. Again, the Western Pacific is always so hot that I would almost argue that the Western Pacific typhoon season almost never ends and never starts. But I don't want to say that particularly 100%. But certainly could begin to see some storms beginning to develop there. And then that's South China Sea, perhaps a landfall there in Taiwan. Again, it does show some sort of a system developing there. But again, that's 350 plus hours out from now. We have got to continue to monitor this all across the Northern Hemisphere this year and continue to bring updates around the world of tropical weather activity and tropical weather updates. Alright, I am probably going to end it off there. We will continue to give updates on Tropical Storm Alvin, perhaps Hurricane Alvin, if it does in fact happen, and continue to do updates across all storms, including the Central Pacific, Western Pacific, Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea. I think there have been a few storms in the Arabian Sea, as well as, and of course, last but not least, the North Atlantic Ocean, Caribbean Ocean, Gulf of Mexico. We will continue to do updates when tropical storms is there over there as well. That's going to be it for today, guys. Once again, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. As always, stay safe out there, and peace out. 5 pieces.